This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining. Uh, Before I just start, can any of you give me a confirmation whether you are able to view my screen as of now? And also please confirm whether my audio is clear. Okay, I see a couple of thumbs up. Okay, that's great to news. And also please confirm whether you are able to also see my presentation for now. I am just sharing a presentation. So I hope the presentation is visible to you. Only one screen. I'm using a dual screen, so I believe uh, only the presentation is visible to you for now. Am I right? Can any of you confirm that? Yeah, I can see Shivani has given me a thumbs up. Okay, thanks Shivani. Thank you guys. So, so we are introducing ourselves for the first time to you. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this demo session on Playwright with TypeScript. Introducing myself first. My name is Cyril. I'm excited to be your instructor for this session. Let me give you a brief introduction about myself first. So, I have around 8 years of experience in software testing field, specializing in test automation. Over the years, I have worked extensively on creating robust automation frameworks using tools like Java, Selenium, and now completely shifted into Playwright TypeScript. We will enforce the focus on why automation with TypeScript or Playwright with the combination of TypeScript is of now big importance as of now. My expertise lies in designing scalable, maintainable, and efficient test automation solutions tailored to meet project needs, right? And that was my work-related experience. And coming to my experience with respect to mentoring teams and training individuals, right? So, in addition to the hands-on technical work that I have done in the industry, I also have a strong background in mentoring teams and also training individuals in test automation best practices. I have guided both beginners and experienced level professionals in mastering tools like Selenium and Playwright, helping them grow their skills and confidence in automation testing. I also have significant experience in providing POCs for automation solutions. Recently, when I was working for an e-commerce client, provided a POC for implementing browser stack in their existing framework, right? This involves evaluating tools, demonstrating their capabilities, and showcasing how they can be integrated into existing workflows to solve real-world testing challenges. On an overall basis, my goal always has been to bridge the gap between the theoretical knowledge that is there on the websites and all the official websites that you see and map them to the practical implementation when it comes to automation testing, right? So today I will be sharing my knowledge and experience with you all to help you get started with Playwright with TypeScript, right? And I hope by end of this session you will have a clear understanding on how to use this tool. In the sense like you first of all will have that motivation that why you need to learn automation right now and why to choose this particular tool right now, right? So that will be also a part of the agenda because that also I believe is an important uh, note before you begin any course, right? The right motivation that why this course makes sense to me, right? So I believe my presentation is visible to you, which says getting started with Playwright dated 16th July. So just to walk you through the agenda, uh, just let me know if you have any issues with my audio. If my audio is low, right? You can stop me in between and correct me, right? So today's agenda will be basically what is the benefit of joining this particular course, right? The second point that we'll be discussing will be like who should enroll? Because that is also a big question, right? I don't want you to uh, enroll for the sake of learning, but understand if this is the right uh, course that is for you, right? And also any prerequisite, right? And then a general description of what is Playwright, because the session, the uh, training module is completely based on Playwright, right? So just a brief intro on what is Playwright, right? And then also the question comes when I was talking about motivation to learn Playwright, right? That will be discussed in this module when we say why Playwright over other frameworks, right? So why, and also we'll be discussing the benefits of learning Playwright over Selenium or any other open source automation tool that is available. The duration of this course, right? If time permits, we'll be also discussing how we can set up a basic Playwright with TypeScript, just to showcase you the power of Playwright in today's session itself to set the right track. That would be a good exercise, right? And finally, we'll be having our Q&A sessions and what are the next steps that needs to be taken if you're enrolling in this course, right? So first of all, talking about the joining benefits of the course, right? We would be talking about the syllabus also as part of the agenda, not mentioned here. That would be covering after we discuss about the course duration, we'll be covering what all is covered, because that is also an important aspect before we start any course, right? So the joining benefits of this particular course is like I am a trainer and I have working in a practical environment also. So you will be seeing an hands-on learning exercise with me. So the instructor, that is myself, I will be writing a piece of code on my machine in my workspace. And I believe the students or colleagues will be tagging along and writing the code along with me, right? And the other thing, so that comes under the hands-on learning, right? The second part will be we'll be starting from the very scratch, right? So we will not be starting with Playwright, but actually starting with TypeScript. I will show you in my course schedule itself how I have designed it, right? Because a foundation of any language is basically required to start any usage of any tool, and that's where for this course, we'll be particularly using TypeScript, so we'll be starting with TypeScript, right? And we'll be creating reusable framework design, right? And by the end of the course, right, by the last sessions, right, you will also have guidance on how to use GitHub on projects, right? And also we would have a dedicated session for how to prepare for interviews, right? And all the questions, and a live demo class where we I would be as an instructor asking in an interview model questions, right? And I believe by end of the course you would be prepared with all the answers to clear any automation rounds, right? From beginner to expert level. So that's my agenda for you guys, right? Then the main question arrives here, like, who should enroll and whether any prerequisites or not, right? So ideally, this course is meant for QA engineers. SDET roles that you have seen are very common these days, right? So QAs are now getting transformed into SDETs, right? So what is SDE? Basically, software development engineer, and you have SDETs for test, so SDETs, right? And also developers who are looking into learning end-to-end automation, right? This course is also basically for them, right? The second point, if you see, I've just mentioned like basic knowledge of JavaScript or TypeScript is good to have, but I've also mentioned like it is not a mandate for this particular course though, because we would be starting everything from the very basics, right? So that's why I've just mentioned like if you have it already, it's great to have. There is no problem in that. If you do not have, that is still fine because there is no mandate, because the course is designed in such a way. We'll be talking about the language, particularly TypeScript first for a couple of session. I see around 6 to 7 hours of learning will be completely focused on learning the language first. So your foundation gets very strong, and then we would be slowly moving into automation. Even though when we will be using Playwright, we would be uh, talking about the TypeScript concepts again here and there, right? So if you do not have any familiarization with JavaScript or TypeScript, that is still fine. If you have any familiarity with any other programming language, that will be an added advantage for you. But again, it is not a mandate for this course because this is designed so that a very basic beginner level, anyone who just want to get started with automation can get it with this course, right? So basically, just to sum up, right, the last point indicates the same thing. So any individual who wishes to pursue his career in automation testing, this course is for you. And to be very frank, there are no prerequisites for this course. Anyone can get started for this course because the course syllabus itself is designed in that way, right? So before we move on to the syllabus, we'll just talk about what is Playwright first, right? So Playwright is a test automation framework, right? Created by Microsoft. So if you guys are familiar with Puppeteer, right? So Puppeteer, the team that created Puppeteer for headless Chrome automation is the same team who has developed Playwright itself, right? So Microsoft has acquired Puppeteer and all of its engineers, right? And along with it, Playwright, right? So Playwright supports Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit. We'll be talking about those in very much detail when we get started with our uh, course itself, right? Just to tell you a brief understanding, right? Like, so Playwright also supports mobile emulation support. Please note this is not the real device mobile testing. This is just an emulation level of mobile testing that Playwright supports, right? So, Playwright capabilities, when you talk about it, has its own built-in test runner and also parallel execution. We will touch point those things when we are talking about Playwright in detail, right? So, just a quick intro to Playwright, right? And now this is also this can also be considered a great motivation that why you need to choose this particular course when there are so many other options, tools, technology available in the market, right? So why Playwright over other frameworks, right? So basically, first of all, this is a bit technical term here, so but still introduced here. So you would see that Playwright has its own auto-wait mechanism, correct? So if you see Playwright, so just give me a minute. Yeah, so can you see the pen marker? So Playwright has its own auto-weighting mechanism for elements that reduce flakiness. So if you are completely new to automation, this would be something that you are not familiar with, but nothing to worry about. We'll be discussing that. So basically, what happens is like uh, whenever any automation tools interact with an web element, say a button or a element on the screen, right? Playwright has its own auto wait mechanism, so it waits for that element to get loaded and perform a background checks and then interacts. That some other tools are still lacking, right? And it so Playwright works in both headless and headful mode. So what is headless mode? So the browser will not be open. So without opening the browser itself, we can perform our test execution. So that would happen in the background without even opening the browser. So that is called as a headless mode. And headful mode is where the actual browser opens and all the tests gets performed, mimicking a user action. So Playwright also has built-in network mocking and tracing, right? Still, if it is very new to you, we will be discussing those. Nothing to worry about. So the main highlight for this slide was basically I wanted to show you this particular graph that you see on the web page, right? This I have taken from npmtrends.com, right? So this graph basically shows the number of downloads that have taken place from the node package manager when we compare Selenium, Cypress, and Playwright. correct? So in the last 5 years, this data is for last 5 years, and if you see this data, which is in orange color, this graph that you see, so this is actually for Playwright, correct? The second one that you see, the blue color one, is for Cypress. So number of downloads in Cypress that has happened. This entire thing is actually for Playwright, correct? So this entire thing is actually download that has taken place from Node Package Manager, which is the NPM, right? So from NPM website, which are all the packages that were downloaded very frequently for the past 5 years, right? Just to show you a general trend, what is happening in market, and also to set the right motivation to learn Playwright, which is today, not tomorrow, right? So if you see, Playwright was introduced somewhere during 2021. The number of downloads were keep on increasing, and there was a gradual trend. The same trend can be seen with Cypress, right? Selenium, more or less, the trend has been very constant, right? So what is the observing factor here? So if you see, just at the early stage of 2024, which is last year, right? You can see there has been a spike of increase in downloads with Playwright, right? So it has crossed Cypress very significantly. Again, Cypress is another automation tool which works on JS, JavaScript, right? Just like Playwright, correct? But after 2024, there has been a boom in the industry uh, for Playwright downloads. So industries, software testers, uh, when it comes to not only learning but practical application, people have been using Playwright very extensively. And that's why it shows a clear path. Like if you are someone who are in this category who knows how to use and implement Playwright for test automation, the probability of you landing a better job in the current market trends also increases, right? Because that's also an ulterior motive that we have, correct? This website is actually official, and the graph that you see is actually live. So if I just show you the NPM website, right? Let me just quickly show you npmtrends.com just to showcase you that this data is not a manipulated data, but it's a very interesting data to see. So if you go to npmtrends.com at Google search, right? So here you can see, you can compare packages and bundle sizes, right? And also compare the trends in terms of downloads counts over time, right? So for first comparison, let me just add Cypress over here, right? And let me just fetch the data for past 5 years, right? So this is the trend that we see for Cypress, correct? Now comparing it with other uh, popular tool, that is Selenium. Let me just write Selenium in an nph package. So this is not zero, guys. So if you mouse over it, right, you have a number, but that number is less than 1 lakh. So that's why it shows a very straight line. So the downloads with respect to Selenium has been constant more or less for the past 5 years. I'm not discouraging Selenium in any other way. I'm just trying to show you how the trend, especially in automation, is moving, right? And now for the comparison for the subject that we have in discussion right now, which is Playwright. Okay, let me add that Playwright. Yeah. So now we have the comparison for Cypress, Playwright, and Selenium. So this is the same graph that you see in the presentation, right? So this is what I wanted to highlight you. So early onset of 2024, Playwright has been significantly been introduced in the market and people are using it very extensively. So if you are at the right opportunity, so what does that mean? So learning a technology that is being widely used will give you more exposure in landing a better job and also in terms of opportunity if you have to go freelance or any other activity. Just in testing domain in general, if you're someone who knows how to work with Playwright, this is the right time, not tomorrow but actually today. If it have been a year before also, that would have also been great, but you are still at the right track. That's what I wanted to highlight here. Now going back to my presentation. So we discussed a lot about Playwright, and also I just showed you the trends that are happening in Playwright, right? Another interesting figure that I wanted to show you, like there has been a rising demand for Playwright automation engineers. So this is just a job market trend uh, which I have taken from Glassdoor website, right, for March 2025, right? So you see a significant increase. And also, if you are someone who is in India, you would find job opportunities in Bangalore, Pune, particularly in QA increasing, and also in QA, basically they have more focused uh, in to get people who are expert in using Playwright automation, right? These are some insights that you would find from industries. So you would find that experts are predicting like by so the 20 this we have already discussed, the same trend that we saw in NPM trends. Like 2024 was the year where Playwright becomes a dominant automation tool, right? So that was the what do you say, a turning point if you see. So this was actually the turning point for Playwright also, right? So by onset of 2024, you would find that it had become the dominant automation tool, right? We saw the same figure from npmtrends.com, the same thing that we also see in testguild.com, right? It has surpassed Selenium and Cypress in popularity, confirmed by this website as well, and we also saw the download trends as well, correct? And to just show you the global automation testing market, right? Automation testing market itself is now projecting to grow from 20.7 billion in 2023, that is 2 years back, expected to grow to almost more than double of it by 2028, right? So you are at the right spot if you are someone who is using Playwright, right? You would have a significant role to play, right? And this is also a comment made by Time on Global IT Services Provider. So this is basically different websites. You can cross-check this data even at your end. Just Google it out and you would find the same trends and statistical data that I have mentioned over here, right? So why am I introducing you Playwright in such a way also is right because as a learner also you are always kind of confused in ways, right? Like whether I should go with Playwright, Selenium, or any other tool. So setting up the right motivation to learn a particular tool becomes a kind of importance here. We just discussed benefits over Selenium. I would quickly discuss some of the niche benefits for now, right? So basically, we with Playwright you have simpler API and the syntaxing is very modern, right? And out of the box, it supports for multiple browsers, easy for debugging, right? All this we can see practically when we start using Playwright, right? And this is the one more important feature that I find that Playwright has, which Selenium does not, right? Selenium works with W3 protocol basically, which is a WebDriver based protocol where the WebDriver interacts with the browser, right? So WebDriver acts as a third party who actually interacts with the browser when we are talking about Selenium, right? For Playwright, that is not required. Playwright follows a different protocol in itself, right? And the CI/CD pipeline integration is very simpler and easy to understand with Playwright, and the integration is better, right? Now coming to the course duration part. So once we discuss the course duration, I will just walk you through the syllabus also so that you get a brief understanding. So what I am planning is like we would have a session every day, only on the weekdays, that is Monday to Friday. So 5 sessions per week, right? Each session will be somewhere around 61 hour, 1 hour to somewhere 10 minutes here and there, right? So approximately 1 hour, right? So there will be a 35 hours of learning. So I also believe in learning in a module size, right? Because uh, just like we uh, just like we see entertainments, we have a very short span of attention. Not to say that in a very vague way, but if you learn in a very chunk manner, right? It stays with you, and the learning will be most of the learning 90% will be very hands-on. So I would be doing stuff, and I will be expecting you to do it parallelly with me, and also ask questions wherever you're stuck, so that practically we see how to solve a problem, because that is also an important part of this particular course, right? And I have designed this course in such a way that I will be including assignments for you to do, which will be very practical, very much similar to what we have already doing in the class, right? And also by the end of the course, you would be creating a mini project that will be a framework development, right? And I will be also making some kind of assessment based on that. So there is no marking system or anything, but just to keep the motivation from a learner's perspective also very much intact, I would be introducing some level of assignments. Okay, now let me just, before moving on to how to set up Playwright with TypeScript, right? Let me just show you the course curriculum that I have planned for you guys, right? So as I told you in my previous slides also, right? The course is scheduled in such a way that you do not need to have any kind of prerequisite when it comes to programming language or anything, right? So for this course also we would be teaching TypeScript right from the fundamentals, right? So we'll be introducing you to TypeScript, right? And also before introducing you to TypeScript, we'll be also setting up some basic structure on why to use TypeScript, right? With comparing with JavaScript, what additional feature it has, right? And if you see the TypeScript fundamental itself, we are covering for 6 hours, correct? Because once your foundational structure of any programming language is very strong, believe me, you can learn any tool, right? So for Playwright also, before even starting the Playwright, the first 5 or 6 sessions, I would say more than 6 to 7 hours, we will be completely focusing on learning TypeScript as a language, right? So when it comes to TypeScript, we'll be talking about how we can set up TypeScript, right? So everything will be shown to you, how to even install software or required to get started, right? And the workspace when it comes to Visual Studio Code, everything, like everything, you just follow along, and you can get it done in your own machine. So that's how I will be planning my courses, correct? Then we'll be talking about variables, types, and operators, right? Covering everything which comes under TypeScript. The functional and scope level, like objects, interfaces, classes, and inheritance, everything TypeScript topics, right? Then also how to import, compile, integrate with Node.js and all those concepts. So once these concepts or these fundamentals are very strong, then introducing you to Playwright would make sense. So that's how this course is designed. So the module two, we will have how to get started with Playwright, correct? We'll be writing our first test script, launching browsers using different browsers that we have, locators, page interactions, correct? And how to debug, how to trace, get screenshot or video capture, correct? And so the course is designed in such a way we are taking small steps in the beginning, creating our foundation very strongly, introducing you to Playwright, not deep diving into it. That is also for 4 hours of learning session, right? So each step should be taken. It's like a ladder framework, right? So if your base step is very strong, then moving would make sense. And introducing you to Playwright from a very base concept level, and then moving to some core Playwright concepts, right? Like locator strategy, interacting with different elements basically. Okay. Please ignore this type over here. If you have someone who is been using Playwright, you might have already known that type is now not available. It is replaced with fill. So this will be a correction that I'll be doing in my curriculum, correct? So type will be replaced with fill. Then we'll be talking about assertions, correct? Then timeouts, waits, different browser context, right? Test hooks and parallelism, how to set up and create a teardown mechanism, running test in parallel using before all, after each statements, right? And when it comes to module 4, which is of 6 hours, right? Here we'll be talking basically some advanced features of Playwright, right? All these sessions will be practical. We will see a demo website. We will interact on that demo website, write the piece of code in our IDE, run it out, right? If you face any issue, debug, check what is going on, what is not going on, right? Very, very much hands-on so that you yourself are confident on to get started with Playwright. Then handling web elements, correct? Different web elements that you see. So all the combination of web elements are being introduced here. So when it comes to drop downs, check boxes, radio buttons, alerts, pop-ups, then if we talk about frames, nested frames, also how to handle uh, moving navigation to a new tab, right? All those will be covered. Then we have API automation also covered when it comes to Playwright. So that is one more thing of Playwright that I have found other frameworks or test frameworks lacking is that Playwright not only supports UI automation by default, but now it has also introduced API automation that can be used using their request context, right? So both UI, that is the front end, API, the back end, both of these can be tested using Playwright automation framework. Then coming to the syllabus part, right? We have just reached module 4, what will be covered, right? So different scenarios have been mentioned here for auth handling as well, then also handling file. So basically you have download and upload options that are available right on the website. All those combinations will be handled or taught as part of this module. So once we have covered the first 4 modules, right, these first 4 modules will actually provide a foundation to start with designing a framework basically and follow some best practices, right? So for the framework design module, I'm thinking of using page object model because it is widely used. Still, it's a very popular way of designing an automation framework. So uh, I would be introducing you to POM and also highlighting all the best practices that we need to take into account, correct? And also, once the framework is developed, then we'll be talking about reporting, right? Because once the test script is completed, we would have a use case where we need to introduce this reports, showcase it to management team, right? And how we can do that, right? And another basic part will be how we can debug using the VS Code. So VS Code is something I'm thinking of using as an IDE, which is integrated development platform for uh, showcasing and writing our code, right? So VS Code is something that I would be using. Okay, we'll show you the setup of how to install VS Code, everything from scratch. Okay, if someone is not familiar with that, we can do that. Finally, we'd be also talking about CI/CD integration. I have just mentioned GitHub Actions over here, but I would be also adding GitLab. Okay, not mentioned, but I wish to also introduce GitLab Actions because that can be seen very much similar to what you can see it in Jenkins. You can schedule jobs, and there are some other features that are available. So along with GitHub Actions, I wish to also add GitLab over here as part of my syllabus. Okay. So that would also cover how we can run Playwright in different pipelines, right? So as a complete automation engineer, right, you are not only restricted to write automation scripts, right? So once the scripts are created, you also need to know how you can organize your test code, how you can create reporting for the same so that it becomes insightful, becomes useful, right? And in organizations, if you're already aware of, you know that pipelines will be created based on the SDLC lifecycle, and having an understanding or some basic level of setup understanding how you can integrate with the CI/CD pipeline will also be beneficial for you guys, right? So it's like a complete package. You not only know how to script, but after scripting, you know how you can create different design frameworks. Once that is done, you know how you can create reportings and also the CI/CD part, correct? And with each module, I would be introducing you to the best practices that should be used or followed, like guidelines, correct, and patterns. So when it comes to best practices, basically environment management is something you have to also be introduced to. So that is also available as part of this course foundation, right? So the framework that will be developed by end of the course will be very much similar or in some capabilities better than what is being used in the current organizations, right? So as I am also part of an organization, so as part of an industry, so I'll be following all those guidelines itself. Module 6 is also a very important module, correct? So if you have the foundation ready, you know how to create a framework, everything is done, you are aware with the CI/CD pipeline. We will be also creating a capstone project, and I'll be reviewing how you guys are performing in terms of uh, the overall output of this course, in that terms. Okay. So this mini framework development will be consisting of creating a robust test automation framework, basically based on the POM model, right? And we would be introducing two or three scenarios, a complete end-to-end test case creation from login, search, form submit, etc. Right? Last one or two session, we'll be having review of all the key concepts that we have learned so far. And I also wish to introduce a live interview session with you guys. Like if some of you are prepared, right? I can also share some sample interview questions by the end of this course session, and last will be the feedback of this course. Okay. Just to revisit what will be the learning objective, right? So by end of this course, all the students should be or will be able to understand TypeScript fundamentals, because that is very important. So once you have that, right, then you can have the understanding on how you can set up and configure a Playwright environment on your own, right? Not only writing UI automation scripts, but writing effective UI automation scripts. Okay, that is also our agenda. Working with different web elements, frames, and events that with respect to UI, correct? And when it comes to API, how to handle intercept network calls, validate API request responses, and how you can stimulate backend behavior using mocking service. Then implementing a best automation, test automation best practices using POM model or any other models, generating reports and debugging tests, integrating tests into CI/CD pipeline, building a mini framework, right? Finally, preparing yourself for automation roles and interviews, right? Getting exposure to real world testing scenarios, preparing for interviews, and also preparing in such a way you have a code based exercises, and the last that I already told you, like we'll be having a mock Q&A sessions for the same. Any questions or anything that you guys want to ask me with respect to how the course is structured and whether this course makes sense to you at this time where you are at your career? Like, just let me know your thoughts, right? This first demo session is basically to give you an understanding such a way that you are well aware that why this course makes sense to you or should make sense to you or not. Okay, so that's the whole agenda for today's session. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Uh, if you have any questions for the same, this would be
I
the
have
right.
I have one
Yes.
question. Why people are using TypeScript than JavaScript? What are the disadvantages for the JavaScript than this TypeScript? Okay,
Yeah.
why? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, JavaScript creates an ambiguity. So what does that mean? So TypeScript on top of JavaScript, right? So basically, JavaScript is basically built over TypeScript, right? So you have JavaScript that was already created, and TypeScript is basically a superset of JavaScript. Okay, so with TypeScript, you also get introduced with type safety. We'll talk about that when we start our first session. So what does type safety means is like with JavaScript, right? The variable how it is defined can be changed at later point of time, right? So if you are introduced to Java, if you have used Java somewhere, not JavaScript, the Java, Java is very popular in market because it is very uh, type safe, right? To introduce the same level of concept and capability what JavaScript has, TypeScript provides the same thing. So if you define any variable as a string using TypeScript, that level of type safety can be used. So that's why Java's TypeScript is introduced.
But we need to learn both JavaScript as well as the TypeScript, am I right? For the Playwright based on the project
No,
purpose
no,
or
no. So when I would be teaching you TypeScript, right, I would cover basic introduction to JavaScript and then moving on to TypeScript completely. So you see, there is I understand the confusion there. See, basically TypeScript, if you know JavaScript, right, it is understood that 90% of TypeScript you already know. They both are very similar. So just to give you a background, like if I just just create a presentation somewhere. Let me just show you. Paint. So let me just show you how TypeScript is created, right? So if I draw a circle over here, just imagine this circle to be JavaScript, okay? And TypeScript is something which is built over JavaScript, okay? So TypeScript is basically superset of JavaScript itself, okay? So these are two different languages, but the syntaxing is very similar to JavaScript, right? Another functionality that TypeScript has is type safety. Okay, so that's why instead of introducing you to Playwright with JavaScript, I wish to teach you Playwright with TypeScript. And also with TypeScript, you will find with when it comes to Playwright, Playwright has out of the box supporting TypeScript compilation by default. So I understand the confusion there when it comes to learning, nothing to worry about. The first 6 hours of learning TypeScript itself will give you the fundamental knowledge of using TypeScript and also JavaScript. So it's like a bonus lecture. So that doesn't mean that if you know TypeScript, right, 90% of JavaScript you already know. So that is the concept here. That is the hardliner that I'm trying to sell here.
okay, got it. Thank you. Yeah.
So one question, can the JavaScripts the scripts which are developed using
Mm.
JavaScripts can be converted to
Yes,
TypeScript?
yes,
Like,
it can be. It can be. So that will be a migration level of activity. So when we talk about TypeScript itself, right, a very interesting thing that I will show you. Actually, TypeScript in background compile itself to JavaScript and then runs in the background. But as a user, you don't have to imagine that. You don't see that live in action. But these both languages are uh, very much compatible with each other. So you can do the migration to TypeScript from JavaScript itself.
So it is straightforward, or need to put some effort there, like just conversion. Will it work? Some.
Uh, Conversion in terms of TypeScript is basically the way you write code is TypeScript, right? So you may have to introduce type safety to your existing JavaScript code, and then you may have to convert it. Convert in the sense, if you ask me, if you have a whole framework already available with you, right, and you wish to
Yeah.
convert it to TypeScript basically, once you have learned the fundamental of TypeScript, you would first find ambiguity where your JavaScript is lacking, correct? And there
Mm.
you will introduce these types of checks, right? Once you do that, you can convert your files to .ts files, correct? Because .ts file itself, when it runs right in the background, it is converted to JS files. We can see that in action also. I will just show you TS node and I can just show that. So that can be done, but to even introduce how to convert, right, you need to understand why or where your JavaScript is lacking and provide type safe check there. So TypeScript is basically way of writing JavaScript in a more efficient and definite way, I would say. It's like you know a language, now you add grammar to it. Something like that. Very
Yeah.
similar to what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And in a practical sense, actually, if you are making use of co-pilots in your organization, right? Those kind of tools will also help you migrating your code from JavaScript to TypeScript. That can be an easier way of doing it also.
Okay.
Can I also show you guys a quick demo how quickly you can get started with TypeScript? Actually, with very basic knowledge. TypeScript with Playwright, actually, how to get started with Playwright. So, if I just show you the Playwright website, let me just introduce you to Playwright. Okay, so playwright.dev is their official website for Playwright documentation, right? If you go to the doc section, you would find how you can install Playwright using this node package manager command. Okay, I will show this in my first session how we can get it started from very scratch. Okay, so as a prerequisite, you need to have Node.js and VS Code installed in your machine. If you don't have that, we can do that in next session, right from scratch. Okay, so let me just open my VS Code for now. Okay, so there are two ways basically you can install Playwright. So one is the CLI command, right, which is the command line using the npm command. The other is using a extension that is available in VS Code. I will just show you how powerful this Playwright is. It will make you wonder things. So let me just open a folder, Julia batch, select this folder, right? So inside this, I am just trying to download Playwright, right? So I told you I can make use of this command line, which is npm install Playwright latest. Another way is like if you have VS Code installed, right? You can go to the extension section. You have an extension which is provided by Microsoft.com itself, which is Playwright Test for VS Code. If you have downloaded this extension, right? Uh, you can simply open the command palette in your VS Code and just type install. And you see an option called install Playwright. I have used this very frequently, so I see it in my first option. If you do not see that, you can type the whole install Playwright, right? And install Playwright will show you different options, right? To save some time, I'm just installing Chromium for now. Okay, if you want to install Playwright with JavaScript, please enable this option. As I'll be using TypeScript, right? I'll be using TypeScript, and you can see TypeScript is the default option provided. Okay, let me also remove this GitHub workflow and click on OK. Okay, so doing the simple task itself will start installing Playwright for me, right? So Playwright getting installed, you see package or JSON getting created, the dependencies are getting added. I believe 1.54.1 is the latest Playwright version available. So the latest download version is downloaded for you, right? And why Playwright is smart, right? Playwright is not an automation tool. You need to understand that. Playwright with TypeScript is actually an automation framework itself. It's a test automation framework itself, right? And it also creates a sample test files for you, right? So let me just save this, right? And just by doing this small action, correct? I'm able to download Playwright, and now if I run any test cases, right, those will get run. Okay, so if I want to run all the test cases, let me write this command npx playwright test. This tool is very powerful. I think hardly I've spent 5 minutes now from download to running the script, right? So if you see, right from download to running the scripts within 10 minutes, I'm able to do that. So that is also one more advantage why people are now more focused on using Playwright, right? Because the industry has also this demand that you have ready to ship codes, right? Your projects are running on very short timelines, right? And they want you to create scripts in the same sprint, right? So that's where Playwright comes into picture. Okay, so two got passed, but you do not see anything got open because by default it ran in headless mode, right? Uh, just to show you for now, I would just change this to headed mode. Okay, let me run it from here. Okay, let me just run any test case from here. Okay, so hardly guys 10 minutes spent and I have a script running for me. A dummy script created by Playwright itself, right? If I spend another 5 minutes, I can create a script on my own using the code gen operator, code gen functionality that is available, right? Just to get you excited with Playwright, let me also show you how code gen works for first demo itself. Okay, so Playwright terminal, and I'm just showcasing you the power of Playwright for now. Okay. So CodeGen is basically a tool provided by Playwright itself with which you can automate or create code for writing scripts, right? So for example, a very simple script, say going to this website, right, and clicking on signing. Okay, so let me just copy this website for now. Okay, so just imagine you are an automation engineer. You wanted to go to this URL and just click on sign in button. Okay, that was the only use case for now. I'm just showing you the power of code gen for now, and then there is a Playwright inspector which will create a script for you. Okay, you can basically copy this code for now, right? And basically inside test, create a new file, say login.spec.ts, paste it, save it, correct? And within seconds, you would find that I have created a script. Okay. I'm just showcasing you the power of Playwright for now. I'm not trying to get started with the session, but just to show you how powerful Playwright can be, right? And now you can see it has passed. So let me rerun it again just to show you the browser getting opened. So the script is created within seconds. So that's why Playwright is also very popular. Out of the box, it also supports code gen. Of course, in real life practical, we won't be using CodeGen mostly because we would be creating a framework and working around it. But to create a small shippable codes, right, within seconds, you can use CodeGen as well. So that's how powerful Playwright actually is. So you can see that I think within 10 minutes or 20 minutes, we are able to do so much with Playwright.
So with CodeGen, actually, if we create a script like this, why can't we create a framework actually? What
No,
will be,
CodeGen, no,
yeah.
no, no, that's so when they created the CodeGen, they have created the CodeGen in such a way that that is to only write script. So the interaction with your page with the locator or the functions, but not with the framework. So framework is basically how you imagine a framework, right? So you can introduce a POM model because that would be a simpler approach based on how your project is, right? How big your project is, right? For some of the projects, you can go with other kind of models. So maybe test data models, right? So framework is how you manipulate how the code needs to run. CodeGen is basically a feature provided by Playwright to show you how you can create shippable codes. So the interaction and also locating an element, right? All those is what CodeGen will do. CodeGen cannot create frameworks for you. So that's why when I just showed you CodeGen just to show you how powerful CodeGen is, but I also told you like we cannot use CodeGen directly when we are working in a practical setup, right? But if you want to basically see or create a miniature script, right, like this, and then this you can change it and add it in your framework. So practically, when I show you, then it would make more sense.
Yeah. But for lengthy flows, maybe we can record it instead of writing code manually. We can use CodeGen and we can add the code here, and framework we can work on that later, I
Yeah,
think.
correct. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So also you would find that the locator that are been picked by CodeGen will not be very much smart in terms of if it's a very simple website, it can do the job for you. But on top of that, you yourself need to understand what are the best practices because when I have seen in practical applications, basically you working in an organization and you're working in some test environments, right? There, the locators will be a bit complicated, right? And the CodeGen may or may not be able to pick a locator which is unique to that element. Okay, so
Mm,
CodeGen works in a very fashioned way, in a very controlled way. You can use CodeGen, but still you need to have the knowledge of how to locate an element, which bridge practices to follow, which approach to follow, right? And on top of that, CodeGen can help you to reach that goal quickly. That's how.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So, so first session, I was not planning to show you how we can get started with Playwright, but to get you excited for Playwright and why Playwright actually makes more sense than any other tool. Also, you would find the learning curve is a bit sharp in initially. So, if you have a strong foundation of knowledge in programming knowledge, you can get started with using this Playwright. So that's why the course is also designed that you have a good foundational knowledge on TypeScript as a language first, and then I would be actually introducing you to Playwright. Okay. Uh, just a small difference with Selenium, very popular tool, still popular. I am also a big fan of Selenium. Just to give you a brief background, is that the learning it becomes simpler when it comes to Playwright with TypeScript than Selenium because with Selenium is a library, not an automation framework. So there's a big difference there. And Playwright out of the box supports. So Playwright is created in such a way, it is created focusing automation engineers. Selenium was not initially focused for only for automation engineers, right? So they had separate use cases, many use cases for that. So that's the whole difference point there. So while learning itself will find a Playwright to be more intuitive than any other tool that you have been introduced till now.
Have you tried generating Playwright scripts using Copilot?
Yes, I have.
Um, so how is the Copilot support for Playwright?
So Playwright supporting Copilot is very much integratable, right? So are you not talking about MCP, right? The context protocol. You're
No,
just
I'm not
talking about
talking
how
about, yes,
the
I'm not
general
talking about this.
MCPs. You're talking about MCPs, model context protocols,
No, I'm just talking about just
general way how you
edit,
can integrate.
edit and ask
Yeah.
mode of Copilot.
Yeah, so it would work very much in sync because if you see the umbrella structure itself, right? If you see Playwright is actually being controlled and created by Microsoft, not Microsoft exactly. There is a team called Puppeteer who was actually who were working on Puppeteer team, and that team was acquired by Microsoft, right? And the ID support is VS Code, that is again by Microsoft. Copilot is again by Microsoft. So the entire umbrella is under the same Microsoft umbrella, right? And that's why Copilot is very much in sync when you're writing codes, and it is able to understand the context very well, especially when you use any JS frameworks, say Playwright with TypeScript also.
Okay. So do you have any previous session recordings? The reason I'm asking is
Mm,
I cannot wait for 7 weeks to complete this course. So at the same time, I'm not asking you to rush up. So if you have
okay.
any existing recording, that would be helpful. Is this your first class with Isha?
We have existing recording, but you may have to get in touch with admin because that were for the previous batches. So I'm not sure if you are not enrolled whether that access will be given to you. So this session will be more of a live session, right? So I'll be writing a piece of code very much live, and you will be doing it along with me, so that you have that practical sense of where you're going wrong. And I can even show you as a programmer how you can fix your issues, because that's the whole agenda of having this session.
Sure, sure. No, definitely. I'm going to attend these sessions. But in case if I have to look into any future sessions little in advance, so I can use those recordings. Like, let's say you
You can
sent it
get in
to
touch
ask
with
me a
them, but
question.
uh, the course will be scheduled in such a way that uh, after step one only step two would make sense to you, because that's how the learning should be. So that's why okay, I think the question comes from a point of view that you are already very much familiar with the language and you don't want to get the fundamentals of TypeScript, is it? Or
Yeah,
okay.
that's right. I don't want to spend too much time. I have good JavaScript experience.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
So
that's the
even with
reason.
JavaScript, I would still say that I would introduce you to TypeScript also, right? Because
Sure. No, I'll be attending these sessions for sure.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I will
without
check with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, please go ahead. Who has a question there?
yeah. Actually, I'm working as a manual tester, manual QA. So after this course, like as an experienced person, like can I enter into another company or like
Yes, you
as an
can. So that
experienced
that
person?
that is also a whole agenda for me, because see, by the end of the course, I will also make sure that you have created a framework right from scratch, right?
Okay.
So you can showcase that in your experience as well. You can say that you have been working as an automation engineer as well, because that is my whole
Yeah.
agenda, so that you do not feel the urge that you are again starting from a beginner level as an automation engineer, right? So
Yeah.
the whole it will also help you in terms of how you can build your resume, in terms of how practically you can answer questions when it comes to automation. So that's why when I have created this course, right, you would also find that the course is not only focused on automation engineer, right? You have
Yes.
been introduced to CI/CD pipeline, creating frameworks from scratch, right?
Yes. Yes.
And also introducing you to API automation, Uh, so this entire thing will actually help you in building your resume as an automation engineer, as an SDET role, I would say. My course is more
Right.
focused on how to make you an SDET engineer. So DevOps and all
Yes.
those parts are also covered.
Yes. Okay.
Um,
Thank you.
hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, Niharika, right? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Hi. So, even I'm a manual tester basically. So, I have
Okay,
done some online courses for this
okay,
Playwright using JavaScript. So,
okay,
but they were not really much interactive, they are like recorded sessions. So I had
okay,
some questions I couldn't get them clarified. So I wanted some interactive, like, somebody who is going to teach us where we are doing the mistake. And so that's why
yeah, that's right.
I wanted these kind of training sessions. But thing is, yeah, I'm working Monday to Friday.
Monday to
So
Friday,
I
okay.
saw
Mm,
that you're, yes, it's very busy. So
mm.
you have this session only on Monday to Fridays.
Correct.
And is there anything on weekends, even if it is a
No,
crash
as of
course kind of thing
now,
only on weekends?
no, as of now, I have not planned for that. So this particular batch will be a regular session from Monday to Friday, every day from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. in the morning. Nothing is planned on the
Okay, it's
weekend.
like,
Weekend will be free. Yeah.
so it's the same 12 to 1. I mean, for us, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Where are you from? I mean, which time zone?
I'm from Australia.
Okay, yeah. Then, yeah, 12 to 1 your time. Yeah.
So this
All
page
this
object
session will
model, I'm
also
not
be.
really,
Mm,
sorry, yeah, go on.
yeah, so all this session will be live, and my personal viewpoint will be that you join this live session so that you can also code along with me, because that's the highlight of this course. I would be not only teaching you, just showing you the presentation, but also coding along with you, solving problems along with you, right? And making mistakes along with you. That is also one more highlight, and I would purposefully make those mistakes to show you as an automation engineer how you can debug those mistakes, because that is a very important thing. I just can't teach you something, and uh, I want you to to have that confidence to even resolve your issues on your own. So it will be practical in that sense also. Yeah, yeah. What you
Okay.
wanted to ask? Yeah,
Yeah, so one more question, like, you were talking
mm,
about this page object model.
yeah. It's
I'm
a.
not
Mhm.
really familiar with that.
You don't have
So
to be
how
familiar
long,
with anything. That's what the course is designed in such a way that the first 6-7 hours of learning is basically to teach you the programming fundamental first, and slowly as we move through the modules, you would be introduced to page object model. It's a way of designing an automation framework, and I would be doing that along with you so that you get hands-on. And then finally, I would ask you to, as a project, to build a framework on your own. So all these topics will be covered uh, from not only theoretical perspective but from a very practical perspective. I would be creating those along with you. So you would be following me,
okay.
uh, yeah, with this journey. I think someone else also had a question. Dhruti, you had a
Hello.
question? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Please go
yes.
ahead.
Yeah. So I'm a Salesforce tester and I'm
Okay,
having almost 10 years of experience. So currently I joined a new company. So where they are
okay,
looking for playwrights. Okay, so
okay, okay,
they are in rush. So today
okay.
they have like they have already worked on the framework like whoever are there
Mhm.
before, and they are going to give me the handover today. So but
Today, oh,
I
that's too early.
yeah, too early. And I joined just last week, and I was
Okay.
not expecting all of this sudden. And I
Mm-hmm,
worked for Provide automation tool, which is before in my
mm-hmm.
for Salesforce. So I'm
Okay,
not sure like how compatible this Playwrights is for Salesforce, and yeah, so I'm little bit blank about it. And can
okay.
you just help me out, like how I can cope up with everything, and how many days it will take for me to learn everything?
If you ask about this course, how is it designed, right? I have 35 hours of learning completely. So I would
Mm-hmm.
be go not rushing through topics because there are other students here who wants to have this course in a very detailed manner because they are like a very beginner level, like right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, rushing will not make sense because my agenda will be that you once you have completed this 35 hours you yourself are very confident in utilizing Playwright as a whole. So
Mm-hmm.
checking your timelines, I don't know whether you
So
have
I'm
that. uh,
okay for that 35 days. I can take that, but can
okay.
I get the previous videos so that in my own I can learn because as you know, like it's already they are in rush
for
and I
that
cannot make
you
them
can
wait for
uh,
40. Uh-huh.
yeah, so if you're looking for already any pre-recorded videos, right, you can get
Correct.
in touch with the admin of Isha Training.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have any solutions where you can see these recordings, you can go through those
So
because these
I'll be
sessions
joining the
are
calls.
live. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be joining the calls. Again, like I just want
Mm,
to spend some time in weekend so that I can see
mm.
the recordings and I can know a little bit more about it.
Okay. So the classes that you would be joining, right, that will be also be
Mm-hmm.
recorded and those recordings will be available to you. But that will
Mm-hmm.
be like for day one, right? So day one recording, right? If you want to have some
Uh-huh.
future recordings, right, those who are not created by me yet, right? So that's why
For the
you may have
previous
to.
session, I'm asking, like you have taken previously, which I can take it up
Yeah,
and I can just
for
do
that
it
you can
in
check with
weekend.
the administration
Admin.
team whether, yeah, whether
Okay,
those can
okay,
be shared with you. Yeah.
okay, okay. And do you like? Can you explain me like how it is helpful for Salesforce as well?
So I'm not aware of Salesforce as an application itself. Are you guys interacting with the browser when you are interacting with Salesforce as an application
Yes,
or
yes.
Salesforce?
It's in cloud only.
Okay, so there is an URL that you access, right? Just like I showed you in the
Correct.
browser, right?
Okay,
Yeah, so for
okay.
UI automation, Playwright becomes an obvious choice because all the web elements that are getting interacted, right, that can be easily used with Playwright. So I just showed you a code gen feature very quickly, right? How quickly we are able to locate and interact with an element, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
why you can use Playwright when it comes to Salesforce also. If you are completely focused on UI and API alone.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, let me talk to them today, and if I have any question, I'll come back. And I would
Okay.
like to connect to your admin so that it will be helpful for me.
Yeah, yeah. Please
Uh,
check in the WhatsApp group itself and you can get in touch with them with your queries related to how this can be facilitated.
sure, sure.
So
Thank you.
UI and backend both will be automating, right?
Yeah, 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 correct.
Backend as an
UI and
API.
APIs, correct. The
Okay.
request responses and handling those validation assertions on those.
Okay, sir.
So,
Hi, can you please paste that WhatsApp group chat link in this chat if you have got it?
can you get in touch with the admin from where you got introduced to this, and that admin can help you. WhatsApp chat,
Okay.
you're already there, right? I think the Playwright with TypeScript, July 16th.
No,
Not there.
I'm not there in that. No.
Okay. So are you in touch with the admin? You can just ask them to add you to that WhatsApp group, basically.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry, your name, full name.
My name is Cyril, but I am just an instructor here. So there are
Okay.
people who can help you out with all other technicalities on how to join which group and all.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. Yes. Yes, Sumita.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Very good morning.
Sir, actually, I'm a fresher who just
Okay.
started a SD intern position,
Okay.
mainly dealing with the Java development, backend development. So
Okay.
I am interested more about
On
to know
automation,
the
yes.
entire SDLC lifecycle like requirement
Mm.
gathering and testing and all these things. So
Okay.
in testing, as a backend developer, I just deal with JUnit and Mockito drilling, unit
Okay.
testing and Mockito drilling, service level drilling. So
Mm.
am I on the right track to choose the Playwright right on this in this position? Because it's my initial career and it's my starting journey.
Yeah, so anyone who wants to get started with automation in general can take up this course. So even with an SDA role, if you want to completely transform into a tester, and also if you want to continue your journey with development as well, but you also want to be like a complete package where you are also someone who can support for end-to-end testing, Playwright becomes an obvious choice for you as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi.
Yeah, hello Jyoti. Hi.
Yeah. Like, if we miss any sessions, will the recordings be shared on a daily basis?
Yeah, yeah, it will be shared just after the classes are getting over on the same day.
Okay. Thank you.
But make sure you do not miss any session because
Yeah,
as
yeah,
you're choosing to join in the live session, please be there.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just to do hands-on if we miss any classes to
Yeah,
pick
yeah,
so
yeah.
that.
As a practice, you can always go back, check the recording,
Yeah.
and do that. So, any other queries with respect to whether Playwright is an obvious choice, or should you check for any other tools at this point? You know, some questions related to that. So this current video is also getting recorded. So I think this video will be shared with you as a demo session, right? So you can even go back and check what syllabus how we are following, and just let the admin know whether this is the right choice for you, right? And follow along only if it makes sense to you in a way, like from your career point of view or where you are right now, whether learning automation with Playwright is the right career choice for you as of now, you can choose this option because my intention is to basically provide you a course that would help you in your own career. So that's the my agenda, my personal agenda for you guys. So I think we have already passed our time, and if you do not have any questions, we can drop off for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Have a nice day.
Hi.
Yeah, hi Jyoti. You have any
Yeah.
questions for
Sorry, I
me?
missed to ask one question. Like,
Um,
usually in the framework, we'll be having this TestNG kind of framework that will also be taught, right?
no, no,
TestNG
no.
or what?
That's why TestNG. That's why Playwright becomes very powerful. See, I already told you, like when you learn Selenium, right? You cannot focus
Mhm.
only on learning Selenium. Selenium is a library, right? Then
Okay.
for framework, you need to learn TestNG separately, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to take any screenshot, you would be introduced to a short library and those kind of syntaxes later. But with Playwright, everything is in one plate.
Okay.
Okay, so no need to learn any other testing frameworks. Playwright itself is a testing framework,
Okay.
and I can show you how we can utilize the same.
Okay. And reporting, what will be taught during the course?
Yeah, so by default, Playwright will have Playwright HTML reports. On top of that, Alio reports will be taught to you. How to create your own customized frameworks using Alio reports, that will be taught to you as part of reporting.
Okay, sure. And the session
But
starts from tomorrow.
yeah, from tomorrow. So today is the first session, demo
Okay.
session, and tomorrow will be the the first session on TypeScript. Okay, because if you have seen the
Yeah.
course schedule, right?
Yes,
We
yes.
are going in a very systematic manner. So reporting might happen at
Yeah,
a
yeah.
later point of
Great.
time
Yeah.
once we
Once
have
we
a
got completed, yeah.
basic strong understanding, strong conceptual understanding.
Okay, sure. So basically, we'll have a end-to-end knowledge on the automation framework.
Automation framework using Playwright with
Yeah.
TypeScript, including the CI/CD. So you become like a whole package. The SDET roles that are now very much in trending right now, right?
Correct.
They are requiring automation engineers to do everything or know everything, right from the cycle of starting till the end, like creating pipelines and everything. One POC for everything, right? So that's why my motivation also came that this course should also contain such features where you have you can be facilitated as one person, one go-to person for all your automation needs.
Right, right. And also, like, I have a basic knowledge in Java programming language, not deep
Mhm.
enough. But in
Okay,
my organization, they are migrating from Selenium to Playwright with Java.
Playwright
Yeah,
with Java or JavaScript?
Java. So will I
Oh,
be
okay,
able to
okay.
cope up with this?
This particular course is right with Playwright with TypeScript. So I don't know whether Playwright with you need Java in particular. So will that make sense to you? So
Okay,
please cross-check that whether that would be okay for you or not.
sure. Okay.
Because I just told you like my focus will
Yeah,
be
yeah.
fundamentally
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
programming language first. So that's why.
Yeah, but the more interested to have this session is to have a basic fundamental of any programming language would be required as a first step. Okay.
No, no prerequisite for that. If you have well and enough, because you will be already familiar when I talk about OOPS concept or object oriented, you can relate it. But
Yeah.
the program is designed so that anyone can jump in this session program right from scratch. Any beginners,
Okay, sure. Thank you.
welcome. Okay, Srivatsan, I think if you do not have any questions, you can drop off, or I can end this session for now. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye. Hello.